I'm back with another video. Today I want to make you my favorite cookies. It's oatmeal raisin cookies. Because of my medical problems right now, I'm on a very strict medical diet, and I was looking for something sweet one day and I found this, and I made them once. Actually, me and Brittany made them on our Vlogoween. I'll link that video down below. It's coming up again, so if she's here we may do it again. But anyway, we made these cookies and I love them, and I've made them ever since, and I've made them every holiday since we made them. So they're amazing, and I wanted to share them with y'all. And I'll link the original recipe down below, because there's a couple of things that recipe, most of the things it calls for I can have, but there's a couple of things that they do that I can't have. So I'll link the original down below so you can see what the original is, and you know, you can use mine or you can use theirs. So I've pre-measured everything pretty much except for like cinnamon and stuff, but I've pre-measured the bigger ingredients. Save time because it's 1:30 in the morning, so I better get started because I've got to get to bed. So let's get started. It's not working this time, but I can't really get the bowl in the shot too good, so I'm going to do a little bit at a time, and I'm going to switch views on the camera back and forth. Hope that's not too annoying. Be mixing the butter and brown sugar by hand, which could take a while because our mixer messed up. So you need a full stick of butter, but all we have is half sticks, so I'm going to use 2 half sticks. So I love cooking, but I hate getting it all over my hands. I don't mind it getting on my clothes, I just don't like getting it on my hands. Okay, now I'm going to use a wooden spoon and kind of mash up the butter a little bit so that it's easier to mix in with the brown sugar. My butter's been sitting out for a little while, so it's room temperature, but it's still a little cool. Well, that doesn't make any sense, but it's room temperature pretty much, but it's still, the middle of it's still a little bit cool. So I'm going to mash it up a little bit. That way it's easier to mix in with the brown sugar. There. Now, my butter's pretty much mashed in. My butter is pretty much mashed up, so I'm going to add the brown sugar, and you need 1 cup of brown sugar. So, and I learned this technique online because usually I use a hand mixer, and ours is messed up, so I couldn't use it today. So I learned this online to mix butter and brown sugar. You want to mash it in instead of stirring it. You want to mash it in to incorporate it. This could take a while, so now this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like. Now I have to add 1 egg and then mix that in. So, and it takes forever to do it by hand. So, note to self: do not make these cookies unless you have a hand mix, or unless you have a mixer. Get all the egg. Okay. Now mix this in. a teaspoon and a half, which is the same thing, of course. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know how difficult it is for me to measure out liquid things and things like salt and baking powder. So here goes nothing. Okay, that's one. Now, half. Okay, or we could just spill it in there and call that half. I'm not putting any more in there just in case. Okay, now the next ingredient is baking powder. Now, I don't usually have to worry about spilling the baking powder, so let's see if this goes well. Teaspoon. Not too much? That's good, probably. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And a bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, but I have to be careful with it because I'm allowed to have it on my restricted diet, but I have to be very careful not to add too much, so. Sometimes I have to cut the cinnamon in half depending on what the recipe calls for. But thankfully with this one I don't, and usually I do okay. So that takes care of the cinnamon. Now, last thing is the salt. So I'd rather spill it on the table than spill too much in the recipe, so I'm going to measure it over the table. Yep, I spilled it. That would not have been good going in the recipe. So I'm very glad that I measured it over the table. There. Now. Okay. Okay, now I can stir everything together until it's combined. It doesn't look good, but trust me, they taste good. I really do recommend this recipe. I'm going to turn my camera off, finish mixing this in, and I'll be right back. Okay. Looks like a snowstorm in here. Now I have to add the oats and stir them in a little bit, and then I have to add the raisins, and then I can put them on the baking pan and bake them. So, it already smells so good in here, I can't wait to smell them baking. Alright, so you need 1.5 cups of oats. I just use regular oats. You don't use the quick oats. Use regular oatmeal. Fun fact about me, I hate oatmeal like by itself, but as long as it's in cookies, I'll eat it. So, stir that in here, Mom, you can have this. And I'm switching to a bigger spoon because it's getting a little too thick. So I'm going to use a regular metal spoon to stir these in. And I just got to give them a rough stir because then I have to add in the raisins. So, I'm just going to get them stirred in a little bit, and then I can add in the raisins and stir it all in together. That's one of the hardest things for me when I'm stirring or making something, is keeping the bowl still even if I use my other hand. I guess it's not strong enough to keep it still. So, add raisins. Raisins is another thing on my restricted diet that I have to be very careful of. I can have them, but only in moderation. So, I'm going to stir these in. Did anybody else, when they were little, think raisins look like little bugs? Or was that just me and was I weird? Okay, so I'm gonna stir this in and I'll be right back. Look like, you see it? Yeah, when it's done. So I'm gonna go preheat the oven and I'll be right back. Into the oven they go for 9 minutes. They're done. This is really good. I'm gonna finish this cookie. I'll see you guys later. Bye.